America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
A great debt of gratitude to science. Science has in many ways helped ease the suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Hello?
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? Welcome to Civil Intercourse. Your host, Tony B. We're going to keep it light today. Got a couple videos to show. Don't want to run it too long. Appreciate you sticking along as long as you have so far. Hope you enjoyed that intro that was brought to us. Pulled that off of @Whitney Webb with 2 B's off of Twitter. Not sure if she's original, but hey, that's where we got it. And let's talk a little bit about COVID mandate backlashes and just kind of carrying on from where we were on the last podcast, talking about this virus that I wish I could not ever talk about again. But as we're looking around, we have just some things in the news that are going on. More than 130 Chicago workers filed a lawsuit against COVID-19 vaccine mandate. New York City police unions say they'll take legal action to oppose vaccine mandates for city workers. CDC director definition of fully vaccinated may change in the future. We talked about the changes that they made vaccinated in the recent past. So fully vaccinated will change as well soon. So sure they're working their thing. Pfizer BioNTech announces child COVID-19 vaccine trial results. So they're working on 5 to 11-year-olds, getting them in the mix. Got to make that money. Shipping companies warn Biden vaccine mandate will trigger holiday supply chain chaos. Looking forward to that. This Christmas season, you should get your shopping done now. Get what you can, and because the supply chain and inflation is about to go through the roof. Maine hospitals suspend emergency level care over staffing shortage. Lovely. So this entire COVID, we've never had overran hospitals, even though we were worried about overran hospitals. And now, because of a mandate, we're gonna have, this is awesome. In-N-Out fined for refusing to check customers' vaccination status. Kudos to them for standing up and just saying, enough is enough. New Zealand sets ambitious 90% vaccination target, which is crazy. But, that's where we're at. Doctors will treat COVID deniers, say Australian medical body after state president's comments. Yeah, this whole idea of doctors not treating patients because they're not vaccinated is one of the most scary things that has to have come along since, I'm not even going to say what, because people just dismiss you once you bring up those references. But this is a step in a weird direction when you want to be able to legalize discrimination without legalizing it and doing it through mandates, using the healthcare and government agencies that are supposed to be there to help protect and support and are paid for by tax dollars to help and support, not to intervene in people's lives in such a way as to be intrusive or to cause harm, to potentially cause harm, and to remove all liabilities for you to have recourse legally If they right now they have given immunity and laid out a situation where they want to force you to take something and they are not willing to be legally liable if behind the scenes they've not been truthful. So if we find out years down the road after all the Freedom of Information Acts and the lawsuits and everything come out that there was a lot of backhanded stuff and politicking going on and I don't know, advertisement being bought and the hushing of reporters and media. So this is the thing. We have to really start looking at this. Like, this is about our individual freedoms and our individual rights and how we're going to interact as a society. And just looking at the things that are going on. Australia, they have just mass mandates going on and they're just locking people down. They stole everyone's guns, made them to give up their guns so they can do whatever they want. And that's what some people in America want here. And that's just not a good thing because, it's all fun and games while you're on the side of the winning argument. What if the next topic is something that you don't agree with? But now it's a health issue. So, you don't have no choice. It doesn't matter what you say. We're going to just come at you and you're going to do what we say to do. And it's just weird, there's protests going all over the world. There are countries that are backtracking all over the world that are backtracking and saying, oh, no, we don't want to give this to kids. Wait, why are we rushing this? There are also 2 or 3 vaccines. One that I can't remember the name of right now. I should have it at the top of my notes at all times, but it is a real old school vaccine, and I wouldn't mind taking it, if that would have been available, but it's not available. So, that's like not this new mRNA stuff and all the other, I'm not going to get into there's different vaccines and they're all kind of similar, but not at the same time. And then the protein and blah, blah. Yeah, I don't want to get into all the technicalities of it. But anyway, if someone makes the decision to get those and it all works out, that's good. And, but you should be able to say no, because I think the biggest contention that I see coming on with this situation is they continue to push the idea, the theory that if you get the vaccine that you will have a lower chance of catching it. And that I don't believe that's what the data supports. What I've read, what it does is it reduces your chances of dying if you do get it. And people are going to get it, and it affects everybody differently, and it's a very serious issue, and it shouldn't be like sniffled at. But it also is overall 1% death rate for people like me and some others. That's about a 30 or 40%. I'm going to have been at a high risk and rare the whole time that this has been going on and working and dealing with the public the entire time. So very aware that if I got it, that there was a really high chance with the comorbidities that I had that go along with this, that, I could be dead. But I have lived every day, not in fear, but aware that, hey, there's this thing buzzing around and, people are getting it. But I was never a fan of shutting down. They told us in the beginning it was 2 weeks to the curve. Like, we're going to go out. It was March 13th when we shut down. The last time in our area, it was right around that same week. And then I remember watching Fauci and all of them and the questions they were asking. And they were basically like, this has to run its course. We can't stop it. That's what Fauci said. Like, we can't stop this. It's got to do its thing. And, but we want to slow the curve. That was the big sell, to get everybody to do the first thing. We're going to slow the curve so we don't overwhelm hospitals and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, ever since then, we've just been on a weird, roller coaster of, okay, what else can we do? How else can we appropriate emergency money for this and then filter it down into our unions and like fill everybody's pockets? And you just get tired of seeing it because you want it to stop. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We have the pharmaceutical companies in collusion with the media and politicians, and they're running a scam on us. And the scam is not that the virus is fake, and it's not. It's very real. It was made in a freaking lab in China, and it's chemical warfare. And we should all be angry about it, but we're not. So let's at least start having adult conversations about this, like where we're at. Where do we want our kids to be? Where do we want our place to be in the world? We got to stop feeling. I feel. No. Think. And stop thinking you're thinking when you're feeling and being snide. And like, data is not always the answer, but you have to look at the data, and you can disagree on data, and there are different sources of information, and I like getting all sides and different sides and people that have independent thoughts, and to see where, it all can line up. And I feel like with this thing going on right now, with the way that these companies are all working together with the politicians and the corporations and just everything, it's just one. I mean, you look at it, it's a mess with the way that our corporations and laws are set up. Ethically, it's just a nightmare, because there are monopolies, but they're the way that they're put down, like they're not monopolies, and just too few people are controlling the media. And it seemed there was opportunity, but like you look at YouTube, doing Facebook, went and bought Instagram, because Instagram started taking its people, and so. Twitter started buying up competitive companies and then integrating them. And it's the same thing Microsoft did, that they got in trouble for a few times, and just kind of keeping the business focused. And the people, when we had the internet originally, we opened things up wide and freedom was there. And so it was a great place to be. But now, I don't know, it's not the same. And, it's just wild. I mean, you're talking about kids wearing masks in school, even if they're vaccinated, and then you say, well, wait, that makes no sense. You said they have a less of a chance of getting it, but they're still going to wear a mask? Why was there oxygen? Like, what is the upside to getting it anyway, other than if you have comorbidities or you're in that age group where your percentage is up and you don't have risks that go along with those. But again, like I said in my last podcast, those are personal decisions that everyone should be able to make for themselves without people getting irritated. Just really weird. But yeah, I don't know why they're saying this, but you can look, and the Surgeon General, the briefing by the White House, I have the links to it in the comments for you. But yeah, I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know what we're doing. It just seems very, very strange that we're not having the conversations and we're not putting our politicians' feet to the fire. I'm going to try to cut this off. I said I was going to be short, and so I didn't want to go past like 20 minutes, but I want to throw this George Carlin in. This is copyrighted by HBO, and put the kiddies away if you're out there. I'm going to put the warning on this one, probably the only one where I have it, just because, it's George Carlin. So he's going to say the things he's going to say.
It's just one more way of reducing your liberty and reminding you that they can fuck with you anytime they want, as long as you put up with it. As long as you put up with it. Which means, of course, anytime they want. Because that's what Americans do now. They're always willing to trade away a little of their freedom in exchange for the feeling, the illusion of security. What we have now is a completely neurotic population obsessed with security and safety and crime and drugs and cleanliness and hygiene and germs. There's another thing, germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily, so now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol. It's true. It's true. It's true. Well, they don't want you to get an infection. And you can see their point. Wouldn't want some guy to go to hell and be sick. It would take a lot of the sportsmanship out of the whole execution. Fear of germs, why, these fucking pussies. You can't even get a decent hamburger anymore. They cook the shit out of everything now because everybody's afraid of food poisoning. Hey, where's your sense of adventure? Take a fucking chance, will you? You know how many people die in this country from food poisoning every year? 9,000. That's all. It's a minor risk. Take a fucking chance, bunch of goddamn pussies. Besides, what do you think you have an immune system for? It's for killing germs. But it needs practice. It needs germs to practice on. So listen. If you kill all the germs around you and live a completely sterile life, then when germs do come along, you're not going to be prepared. And never mind ordinary germs, what are you going to do when some super virus comes along that turns your vital organs into liquid shit? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get sick, you're going to die, and you're going to deserve it because you're fucking weak and you got a fucking weak immune system. Now,
what a dope. What a maroon.
Hello? Oh, just like I said. Yeah, that right there. Anyway, yeah, check out that Youth Talk time. It's pretty cool. Guys, man, we have to get back. We have to get back to what we do, man. Having conversations, talking about things, and asking ourselves why is Pfizer and these other companies sponsoring all these shows where you can't talk about anything negative about the vaccine, and they've admitted they don't want to talk about it because people wouldn't want to take it. Peace.
Is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.